morning, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Group Piano. Almost every week, I aim to come here live and talk with an amazing group piano teacher to learn what they're doing in their studio. And today, I have the amazing Linda. Linda, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you teach, where you live, and we'll just go from there. Welcome.
Sounds good, Dorla. Good morning. I am in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, and currently I teach a studio of about 45 to 50 kids and some adults, and I've been teaching group piano approximately 10 years, something like that.
Awesome. 10 years. So were you teaching privately before or just started straight with group?
Yeah. Yes, I taught a lot of private. I'm not that young, So I did about 5 years of music for young children.
Oh.
And then I did moved into doing my own thing.
Okay. So the 45 students that you have now, they're all group, or do you have some private still?
I have a couple of privates that don't fit into my groups.
Okay.
They have been in a group, and it could be a learning challenge. It could be one, there's various reasons that I do that. And I'm quite happy to say that those kids are really thriving in their private right now. We just had this recital week here, and the focus and the tension is working. It's doing what I was hoping it would do. So that is good.
Perfect.
And my older kids, as in their intermediate kids, currently they're doing 3 private a month and then 1 group a month.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the criteria that you have for deciding if a student should be in group or should be in private?
Well, I think everybody should be in group. That's my criteria.
Oh, okay, I like that.
The ones that don't fit into a group are ones that are struggling, or there's not a space. Sometimes the group is full and they're just in a waiting time for a month or 2, or I'm going to catch them up till I can put them into a group that I have an available spot in. My teenage high school kids, it worked out that way this year. Okay. That wasn't even an intentional thing. It just happened. They are so involved in basketball and volleyball and all this stuff that it worked to split them up and to just do it. And it's been a really good journey for them.
So do you find that maybe new students that don't fit in a group and you teach them privately for a while, do you find that they are not interested then to join the group?
Well, they don't have a choice.
Okay.
They know from the beginning that they're being pruned to go into a group.
Okay.
Now that group, I might do that all in a weekend. I might just say we're going to do, 3 hours on the weekend to catch you up. Sometimes I will say over the next month, you'll have an additional private lesson every Saturday morning for half an hour, so we can catch you up to where the group is at. So
do you charge extra?
The goal is, I charge them the same. Well, it depends. Basically, the answer is no. But what I do is they pay the same registration, administration, books, and materials fee. So they're paying the $200 right off the bat if they start in January or if they start in August. So there is that extra, that leeway there that I just roll it over in there.
Okay, that makes sense. So I know that today being Piano Day,
yes,
you have celebrations going on at your studio. So tell us about that.
Well, this whole week, like last year, I totally forgot about International Piano Day. So one of the ways when I'm planning is I strategically mark it down and I say next year I'm going to make sure that it's a big deal. And so this week, all week has been a big deal. in our studio, we're doing a taste of, we're traveling around the world, and this time we're in New York, and so we're all going to Carnegie Hall the last couple of weeks, and tonight and all week they've been performing in Carnegie. So I've got, they have to walk up as a group, and the parents are up beforehand, and they've got invitations, and they bow as an ensemble, and but they're performing solo. And so I'm trying to make it as formal as we all can get, because some people like to dress up. I'm not sure why, but they do.
Linda. Okay, I understand.
Well, so that's this week. Now, each of the group is coming in their regular lesson time for the most part. There was one or two groups that I moved later into the evening so that more parents could come. It's just upstairs in the studio. They're playing on the acoustic piano, and then during intermission, which is at halftime, they go downstairs for refreshments, and then I dim the lights in the room in the regular studio, and they come up for the second half.
Nice.
Which in performance world, the second half is usually more fun, so they get to pick their favorite songs for the second half, and we aim it that way. Today, my advanced students, as in they're all intermediates, well, one is an advanced, are performing for Russell Alish, and he is calling in, and we've been working on this idea for about a year. So he's calling in, and they're playing mostly from the 9 Waltzes for 10 Fingers, which are all solo works. They're doing different ones. And Russell's girlfriend, Shakira, is the one who's done all the artwork in that. So she's also going to be joining him. So they will meet Russell and Shakira. And then following that, we have intermission. And after intermission, Amy Gustafson is calling in as going to give the kids a solo performance. Such a wonderful gift.
Wow.
Yes.
So you are known in our our Facebook group as the teacher that plans all these phenomenal activities throughout the year. I want to know, when you have time to do all this, where do you come up with your ideas? Because we're always like, oh, what a great idea.
I do life like that. That's my personality. And I'm going to be, my husband has said since my very first recital, you're never going to top that. And so that competition is always out there. Well, let's see what we're going to do next year. If you're in, sometimes, and I'm going to talk about this at Group Piano Illuminated, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but there was one example. We went to Funhouse, and I literally was standing in line at the bank to make a deposit, and there was a silent auction. So I put a bid on the Funhouse, thinking I would take our family there. So I phoned to book a date. I got the whole deal for like $100. It was a very sweet deal. And I phoned Funhouse to book it for our family, and I said there'll be 18 people. And the guy said, well, you do realize that you paid to accommodate 200 people. And so I'm like, okay, so is there an expiry date? And there was. And so we paid to get our family in. And then I used that as my launching post for what I was going to do the following year.
Okay.
And so then the February, March event, the spring event was towards that. So that gave me a lot of time to think about how I would work the theory into it. When our family went down, I found out there was a honky-tonk old piano, which meant everybody got to perform a honky-tonk kind of song. And we had games and food and bouncy castles. It's all bouncy castles and stuff. Somebody asked me, how did you get the kids out of the bouncy castle? It's very easy. You just get the manager to turn the air off and they all come running.
Okay, very good. Very good. All righty. Well, what are you planning this summer? Do you teach in the summer? What are you doing?
I don't teach in the summer. I have tried to do camps And they just have had such a minimal amount. It's been hard work to get people to come. I have 2 or 3 kids that take lessons over summer, but basically not too much. So most of my planning then is done over summer, which does, yeah. So in essence, I have my entire list, my scrapbook. I keep lovely notes like this for all of you who think that it has to be a computer. It doesn't. They're all over the house, and it'll say, okay, next year, I know what I want. I know that my whatever improv has been lacking this year, or I know that my chord progressions, I know that my kids are needing more of this and more of this, and I will have my list of, half a dozen things that I, as a teacher, have gained from this year that I need to add to or highlight.
Right.
Like I know coming up next year, I'm going to try to convince all my parents that using apps is not the end of the world. And they don't want screens. They don't want their kids on screens. They don't want to check. They just don't. And but I'm going to try to make it, whether we learn GarageBand or something like that, so that part of the unit and part of the study will be, unpacking some of those things that in technology, that's drawn from the fact that parents don't want to, also from the fact that that's my weak spot. I have to work hard to pull it up. So in order for me to use Tonera, if I would choose to do that, that means that I need to understand how it works.
Right.
And so therefore, I look at my own weaknesses and I shape my year towards that. And
So how are you sending, or how do you give them their assignments? Like after their lesson, how do they receive their assignments?
Okay, we have assignment sheet in a binder that they take home every week. And on it there, I've got, 4 to 5 things and they mark off the days they've practiced. Practicing is highly encouraged, heading into recital time and into it. And the parents are supposed to sign that they have done it. Some don't. Sometimes parents can sign without them reading what's on there, but that's my goal. So each of their binders includes, a lesson assignment sheet for each week.
So because it's a group, help me understand how you're doing that for everybody. Are you writing in everybody's book, or?
No, they don't have a book. No, I print it off. I print it off and
And so for the binder. So do you make this assignment before the lesson, or are you typing it during the lesson?
No, before the lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have it ready.
Sometimes we need to scratch. For example, if we didn't get to that theory assignment, scratch it. Or if we spent more time doing, mob bop, or there was more work that needs to be done there, that means that we're not going to be adding in the 5th song or the 4th song. So the scratch happens I'd say scratch probably happens 25% of the time. So not consistently.
Right.
But there's times when kids will come and I will be convinced they have mastered the song, but they haven't. And there's other times that we will just enjoy, for example, on a mission. We can stay on a mission every, that was so much fun. Can we do it one more week?
Yeah.
And so I allow that to happen too. So, yeah.
So how many songs do you assign them each week?
Minimum of 3.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. I want them to have one that's a new one every week. One that is, that they're comfortable with, and one that that they love, a favorite.
Okay.
So
I like that.
3. Yeah.
I like that.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'd like them to go back and play what they love to play. They've asked me if they can play Christmas songs. And I'm like, sure. If you want to do a Christmas song, I don't care. Just get to the piano and play something that you like. And it keeps them at the piano.
Right. So what I'm learning from this right now is that my assignments are too vague. regarding the review, because I always put review older songs that we've learned, but I like what you're doing. Like you have the new one, you have one that's in progress, and then you name a specific one for them to review, or you let them choose.
I normally name it.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to start that today because nobody reviews if I don't say
If
it
it's not written down. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I email the parents the assignment, and so the kids never get to see it unless they ask for it.
Yeah, my kids see it, and on the bottom of their tag, it'll say, like, I've got 6 for the luck, happy faces or something, and every day they practice, they're supposed to mark out one.
Okay.
We always mark out one when we've done it in the lesson.
Okay.
So that means, and if I don't get to the 5 assignments or the 4 assignments, then only 3 things are checked off. And so
So
like,
what else is on your assignment? You have the 3 pieces.
there'll be a theory,
Okay.
and it's often a song that they're supposed to listen to.
Oh.
Listening assignment. Yeah.
Um,
Scales, techniques. Well, if it's a rote song, piano safari, pattern pieces, little jams,
okay.
there's, and sometimes it's just a harder song that I know that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
For example, now I will be getting them to listen to the pieces that I have chosen for them to be their feature solo for the year-end recital.
Okay. And then when you do your recital, are they playing in group, or they're all going to be solo?
Oh, they're group. They're group. Yeah. I better be careful. We're moving into composition. So they're going to be one ensemble, and then they're each going to play their own composition.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. And because of the venue we're going to this time, I'm only taking 2 pianos, which means, we're starting with duets, but 4 kids playing at one time, usually doubling up that way.
Okay. So I am imagining, because we've had several conversations, that all of your classes are multi-level, but are they?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I've got 3 multi-level and 4 that aren't, or 5 that aren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like my little ones.
Okay, the little ones. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of those, and I've got a group of 5 girls that have moved on together since the beginning, and they do well together. So my multi-level are mostly at least 9 and up. So there'll be a 9-year-old beginner that's coming along that won't fit in with the 6-year-old beginners.
Right.
But my 6-year-olds are all in same level, preschool. Yeah.
Now, I know piano teachers, we love to talk about method books. So would you like to share what you're using for your littles and for your different age groups?
This year I'm using Supersonics just about across the board for my beginners, like my preschool. I like their preschool. I found it more user-friendly than Safari Friends. And maybe it was more my teacher method at this point also. Maybe it was because I really wanted them to get into the Supersonics Super Scroll and to access all the things that are there. Maybe because I wanted to use the backing tracks. So I changed over, and part of it, I'm a huge piano Safari friend, but what really bothers me with the book 1, it takes 1.5 to 2 years to finish it. So there's no celebration going on in the studio. Yay, I finished a book.
Okay.
Because it's a long progress, a good one, but a long one. So now I went and I have a Supersonics Pro membership. And my kids are moving into their 3rd book. Like they're basically a 10-a-week kind of thing, and we have a party at the end, or we high five or something, and they're so excited to come back and get new books.
Right.
That being said, I am supplementing pattern pieces
Yes.
um,
That's a good
for
one.
the road department because I think they're superior for my teaching style.
Okay.
Now, it could because I taught 5 years of piano safari that I'm more comfortable with it, but I find it explaining it, teaching it. I know which pieces the kids are going to like, and the parents can access the reminder videos.
Right. Those are so
So
good.
they're so well done. They're so well done.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. So, and now with our year-end recital, we're going into the farm. We just were in New York, so we've got to go to the farm. So I will be using a lot of Wendy Stevens' early stuff and her wrote pieces.
Yes. Yes.
So that
Those
now
are a lot of fun.
yeah, she doesn't have reminder videos the same way, so I shall be making a few because I think they're kind of important. But her audio is easy accessed again, so that's where I'll send them the audio and just listen to it. And then we do the listen, and then we do the big action stuff to go through it. And then we, there's a lot of the rhythms that all of that happens away from the piano. And so that's basically, those are my two.
Those are what you use for the little ones. Now, I heard you mention Mob Bop. Are you going to do that at the end of your recital?
I did that last year.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not officially doing it. I've got a couple of kids that have asked to have it again.
Oh, I see.
I'm not convinced. They are learning it, but they're learning it as a solo. Last year we ended up, I had 5 pianos, 5, yeah. And we had 3 people on each piano playing Mob Bop. And then I had some bucket drums. So it was wild, fun.
I bet. I do remember a recital, I think it was a Christmas recital you did outdoors. Like the pianists were they had blankets over them. Tell us about that.
Well, COVID had just come down and we were told we couldn't do any inside stuff. So we just moved outside. We'd worked so hard to do our group stuff and we were recording it. We didn't plan on recording it, but we did. So that was, resourceful. It was cold.
I was cold watching it. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we had, bean bags that you zapped in the microwave when you brought it out in between time to thaw people out. And we tried to make it go quickly. The keys were cold.
Yeah.
Like you keep your fingers by touching the surface of the keys were cold. Yeah. So you just, heat up a towel and put it over the keys.
Oh, wow. How long was the recital?
Well, we recorded it. So I had them come just and record and.
Okay. So it wasn't live. Okay.
No, because we couldn't have that many human bodies in our backyard.
I see. Okay.
It had to be.
Now that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are going to be one of the presenters at Group Illuminated this summer. Isn't that exciting?
I know. It is so exciting.
Yeah. So for those of you that are watching and you don't know what Group Illuminated is, it's the group piano conference that you've always wanted. And so there's not just one way to teach group piano. And when you this conference is for 1 month on demand. So I think there'll be some sessions that are live, but most of them you watch them whenever you want. But Linda, what is the title of your
I don't know. I have to go get it. I can tell you.
Well, just tell us the gist of what you're going to talk about.
The first one is about dreams, themes, and schemes.
Oh.
And I'm not sure what order they are in. So it's taking your dreams and your plans and shaping them into the scheming part is all the games you're going to play to have the kids understand what they really don't think that they're learning.
Okay.
And the other one is I'm taking a group of kids and I'm walking them through from the first time we learn it until the time we present it.
So you're going to have a video demonstration.
There's a lot of video demonstrations.
Oh, wonderful.
Including some of my teaching plans that we planned for each week. And so we did videotape it early because of the deadline
Mhm.
to get things in for it. But and because basically it's not due till June 6th.
Mhm.
And so I jumped a few hoops to get there, and I think the girls will do better because they have to do it again in June. And I will, share it at that point too, the final. Yeah.
Awesome.
But if you have a moment, people on your website asked me about Paint and Jam.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, of course.
Paint and Jam, I'm using my whole crazy brain plan here, and we did a family paint night, and I'm like, how can I use this in my studio? And it was just amazing. The lady that did the family paint night was so good. We had 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. We didn't just paint. I was walking with the kids right from September to February, strategically moving them towards painting a picture that we had designed that would give them a chance to improvise. For example, there was a waterfall. So I started with my little kids, they were improvising waterfalls, and it was at night. So we got twinkly stars. Now the more advanced kids were composing and coming up with something, but they then painted from, 5 months of improv projects that we had done in the studio. I used a lot of Nicola Canton's pictures and the chord progression underneath them for my littles, and I moved them on. And of course, Piano Safari, Dawn on Emerald Lake is a beautiful, beautiful background chording. And so the whole time I was training them and tweaking them to go towards this thing that was happening in February. And it was really wildly successful. Some of the kids taught their moms a duet part, and it was really great. But that was the whole gist of it. It was not just a paint day. The
Mhm.
piano was there. They knew they'd be performing, and they knew they were performing something about the painting that they had painted. And so it was strategic.
So the painting was happening during the semester, not just
Not
at-
the painting. No, the painting
just
was
the
happening.
music.
Yeah, the
Oh,
music was happening. Yeah, and the kids did not see the picture they were going to paint until 1 month before they painted it. So they had no idea that they were doing that.
so you designed the what they were going to paint with the artist,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then you formulated the music, what you were going to teach based on
Yeah.
that, so they could be ready. That is beautiful, Linda. Oh my goodness, I love that idea. So
I did the same. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna ask, is this something that did you write down everything you did so you can share it?
I've got scraps of paper all over. Um, I didn't, but I could, because I've been getting requests for it, and I will be writing down, and I am writing down what I've done this year when we're doing the people we will meet, the places we will go, and the pieces we will learn. And so we're traveling through certain places and meeting strategic people that have to do with music. We started with Guido. I mean, it doesn't get more basic than starting with Guido.
I know, right?
Kind of cool.
Very good, very good. Well, I'll be the first one that wants to see your written plan. So, because that would be something, a really good unit to implement in any studio. How long did the unit last?
Well, I do improv every week. So my brain is always working towards it, but the last, 4 weeks, I was quite strategic. I mean, they knew that it was coming. They knew the focus. They had to let me know each week. Are they doing the moon? Are they doing the reflection? Are you doing the trees? Are you doing the stars?
Wow.
And how are you doing that? So moving towards that.
Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we also, when I did the Piano Olympics, I've been asked about that before too.
Oh, yes, tell us.
I wanted the music. It's always the music. We had games, and I made them big motor games in a gym. And if they cheated, which they all did because they thought they could go faster, then they got sent to the penalty box. And the penalty box was a timeout, which had 2 or 3 theory sheets that they had to finish before they could get back and play it. And so the team was at a deficit while they were waiting for Joe to finish his theory sheets off. So it wasn't hard. I could have just been naming, whatever it was. It wasn't a hard. But for their music, again, we had a piano brought in to the gym. It was there. And I started with skeleton. I took in the Winter Olympics, the skeleton race is you're on the bare bones of what you've got. You're going down this big thing, 100 miles an hour, and you're just you and your body and a few other things going down this hill. So I'm thinking, what is the basic skeleton of every song? Well, it's your ears, it's hearing it. So we started, the oral skills. So they all played rote. It wasn't even an option. I did move some through Blitz books because they're more advanced. So the basic skeleton is your chord progression, hearing it before you see it, walking yourself through it, and making sure that at the end, all those pieces are holding it together when you're performing it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So when we're done here with the live, you need to stay on Zoom. So we need to talk about making you write these things down, because yes. Do you have any more?
Oh, we talked about the funhouse paint night. Well, of course, I can tell you. I took my grandkids to the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame. And so next year, I'm working towards putting a sports theme, but also including the history of the building of the piano, because we're going to go through Baroque and classical and how the piano has advanced into, the digital piano. And also the different, one composer from each. They love John Cage, so we'll probably end in John Cage just because that adds. But also in Alberta Sports Hall of Fame, we're going to also be talking about how athletes and how those kinds of sports have changed throughout the years, and the equipment and the development. And when I was there, there's a place, the Pony Express, how the Pony Express brought mail across, the country.
Right. And
how the piano has progressed. And basically the songs will be
from
age.
that.
Yes. Yeah. So that's just how I see it. And I'm inspired. And at the same time, the kids will have a lot of opportunity to play the games that are set up there. And I will probably bring in 2 pianos. I haven't pursued it further, but that's the direction I'm heading for
Wonderful.
Next year.
Okay. Well, Linda, I feel like I need to talk to you every week so I can, stay abreast of all the things that you're doing. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today and sharing with all the teachers in the group. I know they'll be interested to know when you will have all this written down so they can implement this in their studios. Yes, it's just really fresh ideas that you're bringing.
My daughter's been hounding me for that for about 5 years, but
I need to text your daughter then. And then from both sides we'll attack you. Thank you so much.
It's been great. Thank you, Dorla.
Thank you.